Sup channel. So today we are going to explore aspects of the inner child and how to reconnect with this earlier childhood version of ourselves. So the inner child, if you already don't know what it is or what it means, is the early parts of you, childhood parts of you that may have been abandoned. So you may have abandoned the innocence, the creativity, and the curiosity that comes with being a child and comes with the essence of who you were. And as you get older, this initial essence of who you are and your personality and how you express yourself best is dimmed, right? As you grow older, it becomes buried, and the increasing responsibilities that come with being an adult can really dampen that light that you have inside. And so a lot of the times therapists or healers, they will talk about the inner child when it comes to maybe someone that's gone through a lot of childhood trauma, or particularly is feeling lost in their adulthood. So I know for myself, I'm still currently doing inner child work and have done so in the most recent past, especially with starting my business, with some of these other creative pursuits I'm working on, like writing my book, maybe starting another sort of entrepreneurial venture, but a lot of it more so in the creative space, artistic space, versus what I'm doing now in terms of finances. That's a bit more heavy and tactical. When I'm able to express myself through more artistic means, especially if that was something that I did as a child, you can understand how someone reconnecting with their inner child and what they once loved to do and how they expressed themselves and how they initially explored and understood the world around them. If that's taken away, finding that again in your adulthood can create a lot of meaning and purpose. So I want you to become more empowered and less anxious and stressed about maybe the ways that you're navigating your life and your world by reconnecting with this earlier version and spirit within yourself, which we like to call the inner child. No longer abandoning it, sabotaging these aspects of ourselves that want to shine. There are three major ways in which you can reconnect with your inner child. And I'm gonna sort of explain in more detail and give some examples of how I've learned to reconnect with my inner child in my own personal life, so that we can make it more relatable and you can find examples through my examples and just find a way to start. So the first thing that you're gonna wanna do if you wanna reconnect with your inner child is play. Being playful. We live in a capitalist society that really awards and champions and prioritizes those who are most productive. And I'm not saying that being productive is a good or a bad thing, but I think with anything that we do in our life, there has to be sort of a balance or a holistic approach. It can't just be work, grind. And I actually feel like this way of navigating our lives, this way of making decisions based on external factors of work and needing to be productive and needing to achieve certain things because of work, it can create a lot of distress. It can create a lot of mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical distress and problems. And we're already seeing that, right? We're seeing that there is a growing increase in people that are suffering from mental health issues, depression, anxiety, and that of course is going to affect all the other areas of our life. And so we need to take accountability and we need to stand up for ourselves and our inner child and say, you know what, I am not going to fall for the illusion and the trap and the lie that I need to always be participating in this specific way, in this form of capitalism or in being productive. I am allowed to rest. I'm allowed to take breaks. I'm allowed to play and do things that have nothing related to work. And trust me, this is really hard because especially for me as a Capricorn, I feel like in every video I make, I always have to mention the fact that I'm a Capricorn. But anyways, Capricorn or go home. You know, being a Capricorn, work is really important to me. I have to be careful because I attach my self-worth to my work and what I'm able to produce, but also I have to remember that it's not just about producing for the sake of producing. I have to make sure that if I'm producing something, it also has to be quite fulfilling and meaningful. And this is why I coach. That's one aspect of me fulfilling that and practicing integrity. But there are also other things that I could be doing outside of my coaching that still gives me joy, that can give me additional ways to foster that creativity and curiosity and play that we also deserve and desire outside of just putting our heads down and getting to work. So ways that you can do this and engage in creative play. Some people like to do art, right? Art is a great way to sort of use the creative side of your mind, and that could be done through drawing or painting or maybe poetry. Anything that, like I said, it could be a hobby that you already do. It may not have to be something specifically artistic, but I find doing something artistic can really help challenge you to go outside of your normal comfort zone of what you usually do, and do it from a place of not judging yourself, right? Like, you're not trying to paint the next Picasso type of artwork or Kahlo type of artwork. Like, you literally are just painting or drawing just for the sake of it, right? Just for fun. So doing something artistic. And also another fun thing that I actually do is I sort of go back into my childhood and try to think of hobbies or activities, things that I loved doing as a child. So one thing that I loved doing as a child was reading. A couple things actually. So reading was one of them. 2 was like creative writing, just like writing poetry, short stories, even just journaling. And then the 3rd thing was playing video games. Those were like my top 3. You either saw me reading a book or I was playing like Spy vs. Spy or The Sims on my computer, or Maple Story or Halo. Like, you know, like I was always in a game or reading a book. And so that is something that I'm actively trying to do in my life right now, is making time for it. Because a lot of the times we're like, oh, I don't have time to play video games, I don't have time to read a book, but I actively have to really create the space and time and commit to it, just like how I commit to my work, or else, you know, I know the overall quality of my life isn't going to improve. And if anything, I'm gonna grow more resentful as I get older, because I am abandoning the things that lit up my inner child, the things that light up my inner child, and the things that had once lit me up as a child. 2, we want to revisit childhood memories. Now, this can be a bit triggering for some people in a good or bad way. So for example, I like to like revisit photo albums, home videos. I usually do it like every Christmas, holiday time, when I have a little bit more extra time on my hands. And I think it's a great way for like the family to come together and just remember like some of the good moments after I like look at a photo album. I'm like crying, like it is actually so embarrassing. And a part of that is that it's so beautiful to see where I once was and where I am now, but also just the light that I could see in myself when I was a kid, right? And I think a part of that that makes me sad is that I've given so much of that up. And obviously I'm working on like reparenting myself and reigniting and rekindling that relationship with my inner child. And I ultimately enjoy it. I'm not saying that like I'm triggered. Like, I love the process of crying and releasing and coming to terms with my emotions and how I feel and making sense of it. But also it can just be very fun for some people to just go back and look at all the fun things they did as a kid and remind themselves of like that light inside, that playfulness, that innocence that you want to embody once again. Also, revisiting childhood memories could look like talking to family and friends. I remember asking my mom most recently, you know, like, how did I behave when I was younger? And honestly, I wasn't the best kid. I was very rebellious, mischievous, and that's actually some of the shadow stuff that I want to work with, because being rebellious and mischievous can actually do good things for you in your life, right? You know, when I think of great leaders in this world, a lot of them were rebellious to the status quo. And so how can I wield some of these stories that I've heard about myself as a child and use it towards doing good, to creating impact, to finding a fulfilling career or entrepreneurial venture? One of the stories that I always think back to that I'm really trying to connect with again with my inner child is my mom told me that she would get calls from the teacher all the time about me misbehaving, but there was one particular moment that she'll never forget where she got a call from a teacher, and I guess I had finished my work before everybody else. I was, technically they had classified me as gifted, but I don't know if my mom did anything with that information, so I just carried on through school like everybody else. I would often finish my work earlier before everyone else because it was just easy. And when I was done, I didn't understand that even though I was done, I could probably ask for more work or, you know, so instead of just sitting still or finding something else to do quietly, I would just get up in the middle of the class and start dancing and start singing. And so, like, the teacher would get even more upset because then all the other kids would like start getting up and dancing and singing. And I'm like, she's telling me this story and I'm like, that is so hilarious. That is actually so me. Like, but is it really me, right? Because that's probably not something I would do now in my life. If I was taking, a course at a university or a school, I wouldn't just randomly get up in the middle of the class and just start dancing and singing. So there's a lot of ways in which we filter ourselves, right? I'm not saying that I want to do that, or like in a business meeting, just get up and start dancing and singing, but it reminds me of the playfulness that I had inside, right? My personality, where it was like I was fun, I was playful, I was really in tune with myself. And even now, singing and listening to music, dancing, like these are things I still really love to do. These were things I remember doing as a kid at home in my bathroom mirror. This is actually another activity when we go back to the first point of engaging in creative play. It's another thing I forgot to add is, I used to love like dancing in front of my mirror and playing music and pretending that there's a crowd in front of me, And so I think finding ways to learn more about yourself as a child, because, a lot of the times we forget about things, especially these memories as we get older. So asking friends and family of like, how was I when I was a child? Like, what did you love about me? What were the things that really impressed you about me? What were some gifts or talents or activities that you saw me really involve myself in? And that can be an indication of, activities that you can engage in order to sort of connect back with the inner child. And even when you do further work, maybe even can further sort of help you identify a more suitable career or a profession, right? So the third and final point that I want to make today is, of course, practicing self-compassion and self-care. So that is a big part of connecting with your inner child. You can engage in play and revisit childhood memories, but you also have to do some of the real tough work of self-reflecting, right? Where are the ways in which, you were wounded or traumatized as a child, and how can you offer yourself that understanding and compassion? How can you work with those challenging situations and try to unlearn? Remind yourself, like, just because that was a hard experience that you had in the past, that doesn't have to really define you in your future and how you show up in the world. Also, doing and engaging in certain self-care rituals, mindfulness practices that help to bring you back into your body. Some people actually have a childhood photo of them, maybe in their wallet or at their work desk, or something to always have in mind that here's this little girl that I want to connect with, I want to get back to, I want to make her happy, I want her to feel whole again, right? I want her to know that there's nothing that she has to fear in this world. So engaging in these sort of rituals, self-care practices like, bubble baths or going for a walk in nature, even finding snacks or things that you loved to eat when you were a child. It's like you really gotta like teleport yourself back into time and try to do all the things you were doing back then when you were like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and try to bring these ideas, these activities, and these perspectives back into your life again. And I hope with sort of exploring these 3 aspects of revisiting the inner child, over time, you will become more empowered and more in alignment with who you are, how you were meant to show up in this world, how you were meant to serve, but also with play, right? And curiosity and adventure, and less being afraid of this world and more being excited for what the world has to offer you. So if you really enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Please like and subscribe. You can also sign up for my mailing list to just get more personalized letters from me about how I'm experiencing the world in relationship to my finances, my overall health, business, and in hopes that you can just learn something from me as I'm learning too. Thanks for watching as always, guys. See you next time.